You're driving home, minding your own business, when the flash of red and blue appears in your rearview mirror. Your heart drops. Your palms sweat. A cascade of questions floods your mind. What did I do? How long will this take? What if they search my car? For most, a traffic stop is a nerve-wracking experience, a sudden and unwanted power dynamic where you feel vulnerable, scrutinized, and powerless. The officer controls the narrative, the timeline, and, it seems, your immediate future. But what if you could fundamentally change that dynamic? What if, armed with nothing more than calm knowledge and 4 precise sentences, you could ensure the encounter remains brief, constitutional, and ends with you driving away in under 2 minutes? This is not a gimmick, a magic trick, or a strategy for being difficult. It is the practical application of your constitutional rights, a legal framework designed to balance police authority with individual liberty. The 4 lines are not incantations to stop an otherwise lawful investigation. They are clear, legally sound assertions of your rights that, when used appropriately, compel an officer to either establish clear, articulable suspicion for further detention or end the stop. This article is a deep dive into the anatomy of a traffic stop, the legal principles that govern it, and the precise, powerful phrases that can protect you from overreach. We will move beyond viral sound bites to build a comprehensive understanding, so you never have to choose between asserting your rights and ensuring your safety. The goal is not to teach you how to beat the system, but how to navigate it with confidence, ensuring every interaction ends as it should, with you free to go. The legal foundation. When can police stop and detain you? To wield your rights effectively, you must first understand the boundaries of police authority. The 4th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution protects citizens from unreasonable searches and seizures. A traffic stop is considered a seizure of your person and thus must be reasonable. The initial stop. An officer must have reasonable suspicion, a standard lower than probable cause, that a traffic violation or other crime has occurred, is occurring, or is about to occur. This can be as simple as a broken taillight, speeding, an expired registration, or an observed equipment violation. This initial justification is crucial, is the legal bedrock for the entire encounter. The scope and duration of the detention. Once the stop is initiated, the Supreme Court has been clear. The detention must be limited in scope and duration to the mission of the stop. Rodriguez versus United States, 2015. The mission is to address the traffic violation that warranted the stop. This includes checking your license, registration, and proof of insurance, running a warrants check, and issuing a citation or warning. Any prolonging of the stop beyond the time reasonably required to complete these tasks is unlawful unless the officer develops independent reasonable suspicion of other criminal activity. The critical distinction, voluntary conversation versus detention. This is the linchpin. An officer may ask you questions unrelated to the traffic stop. Where are you headed? Do you have anything illegal in the car? And you're free to decline to answer or to end the conversation. However, many people do not realize they can say no. The officer's friendly demeanor can make these questions seem like mandatory parts of the stop. They are not. The moment the officer detains you beyond the time needed for the traffic mission without new suspicion, the stop becomes unconstitutional. This legal backdrop sets the stage for our 4 lines. Their purpose is to clearly delineate the end of the traffic mission and to deny the officer the voluntary conversation he may be seeking to fish for broader suspicion. They force a legal clarity that protects you. The 4 lines, deconstructed with precision. Here are the phrases, often shared by legal experts. They are simple, respectful, and deadly effective when used correctly and in context. 1. Officer, am I being detained? Or, am I free to go? This is the foundational question. It establishes the legal nature of the encounter. If you're free to go, you can leave immediately. If you're being detained, the officer must have reasonable suspicion. Asking this question forces the officer to clarify his position. If he says you're free to go, you may politely say, "Thank you, have a good day," and leave. If he indicates you are being detained, you have now triggered his obligation to have a legal reason for that continued detention beyond the initial traffic violation. 2. I do not consent to any searches. The Fourth Amendment protects you from unreasonable searches. A search of your vehicle without a warrant is presumptively unreasonable, with several exceptions. The most common exception is consent. Officers often ask, "You don't mind if I take a look in your car, do you?" in a way that makes refusal seem suspicious. By preemptively and clearly stating, "I do not consent to any searches," you revoke any possibility of a consent search. This does not mean they cannot search. It means they must find another legal justification, like probable cause. It creates a clear boundary. Say it once clearly. You do not need to repeat it. 3. I'm going to remain silent. The Fifth Amendment protects you from self-incrimination. You have an absolute right to remain silent. Simply stating, "I'm going to remain silent," invokes this right. After this, you should actually remain silent regarding any investigative questions. You must still provide your license, registration, and proof of insurance, as that is required by statute. You can answer basic, non-investigative procedural questions like, "Please step out of the car for safety." But to questions about your travel, your passengers, or your belongings, silence is your shield. It prevents you from inadvertently saying something an officer could misconstrued as suspicious. For, "I want a lawyer." This is the ultimate circuit breaker. The Sixth Amendment guarantees the right to counsel. Once you clearly invoke your right to an attorney, all police questioning must cease until a lawyer is present. Edwards versus Arizona, 1981. In a roadside stop scenario, this statement powerfully communicates that you will not be participating in any further interrogation. It often signals to the officer that the investigative fishing expedition is definitively over. The strategic application: when and how to use these lines. Delivering these lines like a robotic checklist is a mistake. Context, timing, and demeanor are everything. The optimal scenario: the fishing expedition stop. You're pulled over for a minor violation, e.g., a speeding ticket. You provide your documents. The officer returns and hands you back your license and a written warning. The traffic mission is functionally complete. He then says, "So, before you head out, mind if I ask you a few more questions? Or, you don't have any guns or drugs in the car, do you?" This is the critical moment. This is where the detention risks becoming unlawfully prolonged for an investigative purpose unrelated to the stop. Here is your calibrated response. "Officer, am I being detained?" Or, "Am I free to go?" If he says, "You're free to go," take your warning, say "Thank you," and drive away. If he hesitates or says you're being detained, you proceed. "I do not consent to any searches." You are preempting the common next question. "I'm going to remain silent." If questioning continues, "I want a lawyer." This sequence boxes in the officer's legal options. It respectfully asserts that you understand the bounds of the encounter. He must either let you go or articulate a new, specific reason for detaining you further. Most fishing expeditions end here because the officer lacks the requisite reasonable suspicion for a prolonged detention. Crucial nuances and considerations. Demeanor is paramount. Be calm, polite, and firm. Speak in a neutral, steady tone. Your goal is not to argue or educate the officer, but to state your legal position. Hostility will only escalate the situation. Keep your hands visible. Always keep your hands on the steering wheel until instructed otherwise. Announce your movements if you need to reach for your glove compartment. Your safety is the first priority. Comply with lawful orders. You must provide your documentation. You must step out of the car if ordered for officer safety. Pennsylvania versus Mims, 1977. Asserting your rights is not a license to disobey lawful commands. The lines are not a get-out-of-a-ticket-free card. If the officer is still in the process of writing your ticket, these lines will not make him stop. They're designed to end the detention after the traffic mission is complete. Know the exceptions. An officer can pat you down for weapons if he has a reasonable belief you are armed and dangerous. Terry versus Ohio, 1968. He can search your car if he sees contraband in plain view or develops probable cause, a higher standard than reasonable suspicion. Your non-consent does not override these legal exceptions. The psychology of the stop and the power of knowledge. Understanding the psychological underpinnings of a traffic stop is as important as knowing the law. Officers are trained in command presence and observational techniques. They use casual conversation to look for signs of nervousness, inconsistencies in stories, or visual cues of criminal activity. This is legal, but your participation is voluntary. When you calmly and knowledgeably assert your rights, you disrupt this script. You transform from a subject of an investigation into a person who knows the limits of authority. This often changes the officer's cost-benefit calculation. Prolonging the stop now carries the risk of a potential constitutional challenge. For an officer without solid, articulable suspicion, the simplest and most legally defensible path is to end the encounter. A deeper dive into related legal doctrines. To fully grasp why this works, we must explore a few more legal concepts. The mere hunch versus reasonable suspicion. An officer's gut feeling is not enough. Reasonable suspicion requires specific, articulable facts that criminal activity is afoot. Your nervousness, your destination being a high-crime area, or your refusal to consent to a search, which is a constitutional right, cannot, standing alone, constitute reasonable suspicion. The plain feel and plain view doctrines. If an officer lawfully pats you down for weapons and feels an object whose contour or mass makes its identity immediately apparent as contraband, like a bag of drugs, he may seize it. If he lawfully stands outside your car and sees contraband through the window, he may seize it. This is why it's critical to ensure any search is truly non-consensual, forcing the officer to justify it under these strict exceptions. Pretextual stops. The Supreme Court has ruled that an officer's subjective intent does not invalidate an otherwise objectively lawful stop. Wren versus United States, 1996. An officer can stop you for a minor traffic violation, even if his true motive is to investigate a drug offense. However, once the stop is made, he is still bound by the Rodriguez decision. He cannot prolong it absent independent suspicion. The suspense-driven question. Given everything you now know about the legal boundaries of a traffic stop, consider this scenario. An officer pulls you over for a broken taillight. He takes your license and returns 5 minutes later. He hands you a repair order instead of a ticket, saying, "I'm just giving you a fix-it ticket today." He then immediately asks, "So, you're not transporting anything you shouldn't be, are you?" What is the single most important, immediate question you should ask him at this precise moment to determine the future course of the encounter? Answer in the comments below. Conclusion. Empowerment through understanding. The 4 lines are not a loophole. They are the embodiment of centuries of legal evolution designed to protect individual liberty from state power. Memorizing them is useful, but understanding the why is empowering. A traffic stop is a short, high-stakes negotiation of your constitutional rights. By knowing the law, you ensure the negotiation happens on a level playing field. You have the right to be secure in your person and effects. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. You have the right to be free from unreasonable seizure. These are not abstract concepts. They are tools for preserving your freedom in everyday life. Use them calmly, use them wisely, and use them with the confidence that the law is on your side. Knowledge is your best defense. For more in-depth analyses of your rights, real-world legal breakdowns, and strategies for navigating encounters with authority, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update that could one day protect you or someone you love. Stay informed and stay safe.